Alpine's primary goal for their clients is promoting independence. We want our clients to be able to raise their hand or ask their teachers or mom and dads, importantly, saying, I need to go to the restroom.
More or no more?
Or
more.
I'm hungry. So being able to identify their emotions, their surroundings, and being able to ask to go places independently and do things independently.
We opened the center in 2005 at Mount St. Francis, and it was interesting because we were looking for lease space and everybody turned us away. They were like, kids with autism, no thanks. But they welcomed us with open arms, and they were very good to us for our first 5 years. Then we outgrew that 3,000 square foot facility, rented 2760 Fieldstone back in 2010, and then purchased it in 2013. Our mission is to provide access to effective treatment. And so you have to have a place to do that, and we really just wanted a place where families could come, where they had high quality therapy from a family's perspective.
ABA is the only scientifically validated treatment for individuals with autism. In the 1960s, the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis was founded. And since then, there's been many hundreds of peer-reviewed articles that continue to show that the methodologies that we use within applied behavior analysis work on individuals with autism. ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. It is the application of the science of behavior. And what we use is the principles of learning and motivation. So we use those principles to teach individuals skills that they either have deficits in, like academics, social skills, play skills, or excesses in, like maladaptive behaviors such as physical aggression or self-injurious behavior.
Alpine's primary goal for their clients is to help each child reach their full potential. And I think that's different for every kid. That could be different social skills for kids. It could be fine motor, gross motor things. It's really the leads and the supervisors working with the parents in order to come up with, behavior plans that are really suited for each kid.
How Alpine customizes a behavior plan for a client is the line therapist. We work one-on-one with the kiddos, so we will write down on ABC data sheets that stand for antecedent, behavior, and consequence. So each time the client has a behavior, we'll write down what the antecedent was, we will write down the behavior, and what we did to consequate. So we will tally up how many times we've done it and how many times throughout the session and throughout the day. And after a few weeks or a few months, the BCBAs and the lead teachers go in and they see how many times that behavior occurred, and then that's how they implement it into a behavior support plan.
There's various methods that we use to facilitate learning. We use functional communication training, which is facilitating that communication piece, making sure that we're providing them with a means to communicate, whether it be by sign language or PECs, which is pictures that you exchange with an individual to let them know what they want, to get access to the things they want, or to avoid having to do something that they're not wanting to do in an appropriate manner. One of the core principles of ABA is reinforcement. We want to reinforce those behaviors that we want to see, and we don't want to reinforce behaviors that we don't want to continue, which is the maladaptive behaviors.
So each client will have 5 tokens or 3 tokens, and every time we ask them a question or a trial and they get 2 correct, we'll give them a token. And if they get 5 tokens in a row or 2 tokens in a row, they automatically get a break. So it's showing them like, hey, if I can get these 5 tokens, I can go play on the computer, I can go play on the iPad. But we do a thing called preference assessment. So if our client's super motivated for tokens, then we'll motivate them with tokens. Or if they're hungry at the moment, we'll motivate them with food.
The best teacher can make a fun game out of a rock. I think the best thing to do is be the best version of yourself, be your own kind of silly, and they really love that. They really love when a person is really fun and really silly, and they really like it when it's motivating to work for you.
Our clients and parents are really committing to making sure that their individual son or daughter is getting the access 5 days a week, at least 15 hours, and our full-time clients are here 30 hours a week, which we see significant change within even a month because of the structure that we have here.
Peyton is able to now interact with her peers appropriately. She didn't know that she had brothers for a really long time, and a few months after we started Alpine, she actually would grab them to play. She started with having no words to pretty much saying whatever she wants to say. There's no functionality with it yet, but we can definitely tweak it and go from there, and it's something that has certainly made her life easier, being able to communicate her wants through language.
I think the biggest things that we've noticed is that there's been a change in his want to communicate. He never really cared about communicating with friends or peers. He didn't care to share things that he loved or that he wanted me to see. Most kids would look at you when they see an airplane in the sky, and they would want you to see the airplane too. And Brian never did that until 2 months ago. With Brian having a lack of verbal communication skills, it was always really difficult to understand what he wanted and to give him things. He's signing a little and he points and he shows us things. We just started with a AAC device, so a communication device, and they're helping us work with him on how to use that functionally.
My boys learned how to learn is what they were able to engage, and they are still nonverbal, but they learned how to answer yes and no questions, how to take care of themselves, how to dress, how to eat. Josh can read a lot of sight words now, and again, he really understands a lot, and it helps with his daily quality of life.
My daughter was what they call echolalic. She just repeated phrases from videos, and people say, oh, she's speaking, she knows her ABCs, but she really didn't. She was just, they weren't functional. And so I remember the first time the consultant got her to use her motivating factor, Dora, which still it is, and got her to say it functionally. And from then she just took off.
In a regular school setting, a teacher has a kid for a year and then they move on and they go to the next grade. Here, the therapists usually work with a kid for as long as they're here. So I've had kids that I've worked with for over 2 years since I've been here. And to be able to see that progression, be able to see them, learn new things, how to hold a cup, how to walk, how to talk, that was tough for a second. It's inspiring, you know what I mean? Like, it's inspiring to watch a kid learn something new, and it changes your life that you helped, in some way.
Alpine welcomes all clients, all spectrums of autism, and I think that it's very important that Alpine doesn't discriminate on how low or high functioning this individual is.
We are unique in the fact that we have purchased an international curriculum, the CARD curriculum, and we have not only one-on-one line staff, but we also have a lead teacher over that person, a program coordinator over that person who's certified, and then a clinical director.
We always have a waiting list. We are constrained by our ability to hire and retain staff right now the past several years.
We are a nonprofit, and so we have to offset our operating expenses with fundraisers.
One of our big expenses coming up is adult programs.
And a new roof.
Yeah, and a new roof. Yeah, it is hard to maintain a facility. The grounds, we have actually a playground. We've purchased all the equipment. We just need to be able to install it.
We want to get into more, after school programs, therapeutic rec programs, things like that.
Outdoor recreation, yeah.
Once we reach a maximum, we have a magic number of clients that then operations should be able to sustain themselves. Then we can use some of this extra money, because we are committed to continuing our fundraising efforts. And then we can do things like provide stipends for people that have gaps in insurance coverage, high deductibles or something like that. All these other programs we want to do, because with kids with autism and adults, the needs are just endless. It's not just a day program from 8:30 to 3:30. The needs are continuous throughout their whole lifespan.